Any good thing for that side for you, if you get married and your husband is actually an NS man, you actually get some relief as well.
Really?
Yeah, $750. $750
What have I
relief.
got to do with my husband? Like,
Because the government thinks that you are supportive of your, you go to the your husband go to NS and then you take care of the house, you clean the house, take care of the child, polish the boot, kilat for him, then wash the NS uniform. Yeah, so they thank you for $750 relief.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Good
So
to
something
know.
for you to look forward.
Good to know. Okay.
This is a reminder that the content covered in this podcast should not be construed as personal financial advice. If you need any financial advice, consult us directly for tailored solutions to meet your needs.
Hi everybody, welcome to today's episode of
TrueTalk.
New office, new setup. Looks good.
Yep.
Looks good.
Yep, it's good. Definitely feel good.
Okay, so today we have a very special guest with us today, and maybe Tianchong wanna introduce our guest?
Yeah. He's a certified financial planner. He has been in the business for 8 years. Let's welcome Ken! Alright!
And Ken, nice meeting you all.
Yeah. Okay, so today we're going to talk about tax. So we have him to share with us more about how Singapore tax systems works. And yeah, let's give it a go. Ken, what do you have for us today, man?
Okay, so I'd like to share about the tax in Singapore and then how can we plan for the tax and including the relief that we can do for our tax. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So we understand that Singaporeans and residents and of course the non-residents have a different tax systems, right?
Yeah, correct. So it's basically in the Singapore, right, as long as you earn income in Singapore, it is taxable. So it's regardless of either big amount or small amount. So as long as you stay in Singapore for less than 183 days, so actually you're considered non-residents of Singapore and your tax rate is different from the residents in Singapore.
Okay. So how about the bracket system? How was the percentage be like in on that?
So for the non-residents, right, actually the rate is a flat rate of 15%. While for the resident of Singapore, right, actually we have a table of the taxable income. So as long as your income cross above 20,000 per year, so it's taxable. So it's based on the tax table provided by the IRAS.
Oh yeah, do make sure you check the IRAS table in case they change, yeah.
Yeah, actually the rate, right, it changes every year based on the situation, but what we can see this year, right, they incurred a little bit more tax for the high income earner.
Right. So in your point of view, personal point of view, how much do you think that it's like that you require to do tax planning, or if your clients, any of the clients who have reached certain amounts, you say, hey, let's do some tax planning for the client?
Okay, first of all, right, as mentioned, once your income cross 20,000, right, you're taxable, this is where we need to start to do our tax planning.
Oh,
to
already?
reduce our,
Okay.
Yeah, definitely, because even from my point of view, even you can save $1, that's considered a saving already.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Wow.
See, financial planner.
Different.
Wow, I won't move on.
Well, okay. So on the tax saving basis, we have the relief portion. We also have the rebate portion. So since it's the time of the year when we do our tax planning, you see, so usually when do you recommend looking into what to do for the next year tax, or what should we do for this year tax kind of thing?
I'm still trying to understand your question, yeah.
All right.
Okay,
so
actually,
so let me rephrase it. So say we know that we have to save on the next year tax. We need to do something this year. So what were the things that you need to do this year?
Okay, so first of all, right, in Singapore, the tax filing period is actually from the 1st of March to 18th of April. So what we can do, right, once we receive the notification from IRAS, actually we can start to look into what kind of the expenses that we have already done for our career, either our job, in the last year, then we can try to put into our current year's expenses. But it doesn't
that will
apply
be for self-employed.
Definitely,
Okay.
what I mentioned for self-employed. But for the employed person, right, we can look into the relief part.
I see. Okay. So we have so many relief in Singapore, and Singapore is a very good place to work on tax. You see, I have a client who actually come to Singapore to work, and he actually just left Singapore last week. Yeah, and he shared with me that he came here Singapore to work and to save money, because Singapore is a very good place to save money on tax as well, comparable to certain countries that I mean probably he might be in there right now, but let's not go there. Yeah. So with that context, the relief that so coming back, the relief that the place that we can use on, there's a lot of relief. Can you name us a few that you understand or you want to share with us, with our listener?
Okay, so based on your scenario, assume that the client is actually staying in Singapore for more than 183 days.
Okay.
So, which is the resident of Singapore. So what your client can apply is actually, for example, for everyone, by default, we already have the earned income relief.
Earned income
There's
relief.
a standard
That's
one.
the 1,000
Yeah.
relief.
So is your client just himself or herself, or come together with the parents, or
Himself.
So what I can look into, right? If he purchase insurance locally, the life insurance locally, he can apply for the life insurance relief.
Okay.
Yeah, another
Up
one
to
is
5,000. All right.
Correct.
Yep.
So if let's say last year he contributed to the SRS account, the supplementary retirement scheme, which is a retirement saving plan offered by the bank, so he can apply for the SRS relief too.
Yeah. For the SRS relief for foreigners, it's up to
Okay.
how much?
The relief for the SRS right, is up to 15,000.
That is
37.
37, 35,
see,
37. Yeah.
37.
Verify first.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
far
I
before we
think-
give you the information. Yeah. But definitely for
Yeah.
Singaporeans, it will be $15,300. Yeah. So like say example, you are earning an income tax bracket of like 95,000, and you are actually So before we go into that, because the tax bracket is actually different. So I think for the 80 to 120,000, you are paying 11.5%, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, let me just do a quick check.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
like
that's 11.
too many numbers.
Yeah, that's 11.5. So you are actually paying $4,600 for the next bracket for that next 40K that we are earning. So if you're earning a 95,000 in Singapore, by then you save your money in the SRS account, and then you actually drop your incomes $1 for $1 until 80, sorry, 80.
Wow.
Yeah. So then we can save on the percentage of that 11.5% if you wish to save for your retirement.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming back to the reliefs, what other reliefs can we get? Just now you talked about earned income relief, SRS
Life
relief and life
insurance,
insurance
yeah.
relief. What other reliefs are there?
I think I can help to input this part. I think definitely we still have the CPF relief.
Okay.
So basically for CPF portion, right, we know Singaporeans government actually want to encourage us to save for retirement.
Yes.
So we can actually top up our account up to $8,000 a year to our special account or the retirement account up to a full retirement sum. Right. So it will be $1 for $1. So if we actually contribute say $6,000, then we will have a $6,000 relief from there. Yeah, but we also can top up to our MediSave account. Also get $1 for $1. So a year you can actually contribute for CPF relief up to 16,000. So 8,000 from either from your RSTU retirement sum top up scheme, your MediSave account top up, or to your parents or to your spouse, up to the full retirement sum. So either or, you just get up to 16,000 from the CPF portion. So 16,000 and probably 15,300 from SRS, that will get you a 30,000+ already.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I have a question. So let's say if let's say I'm married and I have a child, or I have like children, what sort of reliefs do I get?
Yeah, so basically you're entitled with several relief and rebate. For example, the first one we know is the qualifying child relief. Yeah, so as long as your child still young or not earning any income, or the income not more than 4,000 per year, so per child right, can entitled with the 4,000 relief. Yeah, per child. Yes, and if let's say your child is handicapped, right, definitely you're entitled more for 7,000 relief. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So another one you're qualified is the working mother child relief. So for example, if let's say you got the first child, then you're entitled with the 15% of your earned income. If you have more children, right, actually you're entitled more relief of your taxable income.
So the trick is have more children lah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Singapore government actually encourage you to have more child.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I got
To
my
support
baby.
the growth of Singapore. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
okay.
Yeah. So the first child is, I understand, is 15, followed by 20 and 25. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
another one is actually the parent tax rebate. Yeah. So if let's say you got your first born or adopt a child in this year, right? So actually you can entitle a parents tax rebate, which is the 5,000.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, this is actually pretty encouraging, right? So if
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
say you adopt or have another child born this year, right?
Yeah.
Entitle 10,000. So the same thing
wow.
up
Okay,
to
okay.
20,000 for the third and onwards. So again, to be in line with the Singapore government policy, which to encouraging us to give more
Kids.
They
have more child.
give more
Have more
birth lah,
children.
to contribute to
give birth
Singapore
more
nation.
children. Yeah.
Grow the population, but my wallet grow thinner.
But at least, yeah, we know that actually Singapore government, at least they do something to help the parents to
Yeah,
cope
yeah.
with the tax and the burden.
Yeah, so
Yes.
a bit more about the qualifying child relief. I understand that the qualifying child relief can, if you don't do anything, the government actually give you 50% to both parents, the husband
Yeah.
and the wife.
Okay.
So in any scenario, like say the husband is earning more than the wife, or the wife is earning more than husband, we can readjust the tax
Yeah,
relief,
correct.
right?
That's why we emphasize on this tax planning between the couples, because if let's say one of them, if let's say having a higher income, right, it's important to put the relief to the higher income one,
Right,
so they
right,
entitle more
Correct.
rebate. In the,
Because the 4,000 in the, say maybe the first 120K bracket and the 40K
Correct.
bracket, it's a lot of difference,
difference,
right?
yeah.
really a lot, yes.
Okay, so we have the working mom relief, right, and tax rebate as well, right? Tax rebate also can be split, right?
Yes, correct.
Right. Understand that tax rebate, if you don't finish up this year, you can actually use it next year.
Huh?
Yeah. Right, interesting,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So this is something that we can work on in the future. If you no, we can work on. You can work
If
on.
if I have a child, I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
get
yeah,
married
yeah.
first lah. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ta-da! Yeah, get married. Come on. Okay. Right. So.
I also heard that like if you employ a helper, you also can get relief.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
The
Casually.
maid levy relief lah.
Yeah.
We have the maid levy relief and can claim up to two maids maximum, I think.
wow, people have two maids.
There is.
Actually, yeah.
There is. I have a client who give birth to a child, got one maid, give birth to second child, got another maid.
No, it's okay.
A
Got
few
people
clients-
got
not a few clients, a
maid
few
for
clients,
the
ah.
dog,
Oh wow.
just for the dogs.
Well,
Wow.
this is. I mean, yeah, of course, good
I
enough.
don't even have maid. The dog have maid.
Oh yeah, we have the NS men relief. And
Yeah, so this is by default will be entitled all the NS men, right? That automatically entitled for the
Active and
relief,
non-active, right?
Correct. According to their the rate is different accordingly lah. The government they automatically put into their IRAS file tax file. Yeah.
Right. So basically, they don't have to do anything about that. But
Yeah,
just
correct.
take note. If you're active, is 3,000. You're non-active, is actually 1,000.
Something more applicable to like singles, maybe. I know if you support your parents, and then you can get
Right.
relief also.
Yes,
Right.
correct. So basically, if let's say your parents stay with you, right?
Yeah,
actually, you're entitled with the parents' tax relief. Also, important is if your parents also do not earn income more than 4,000 per year. Yeah.
Oh, so if my parent is working and earn more than that, then I cannot.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. You cannot.
Okay, so good thing my mother doesn't work lah.
Right. We also have grandparent relief under the parent bracket. You have to put in the IC number of their parents and grandparents as well. And grandparents, if staying with you, can go up to $9,000, and not staying with you can go up to $5,500. That can be quite substantial. But of course, provided you fulfill the requirement what IRAS asks you to do so, right? Yeah. So make sure you fulfill the requirement before you claim for tax relief. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
There was one more.
Yeah,
one
one more.
more. Yes, if you are very kind-hearted, like me,
Yes.
some charity donations actually are tax relievable.
Actually, for the donation tax relief, right? For every dollar that we donate out, right? Actually, we entitled 2.5 times of the tax relief. So this is the initiative from government to encouraging us to contribute back to the community. Yeah.
But it has to be like it has to be stated that it's tax
Yeah,
can
for
claim
the
for tax
charity
relief,
organization, right, has to state that actually the donation is entitled for the tax relief.
Okay, so like roadside people sell tissue, all that not counted lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only those government approved charity organization.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And also for like Muslims, zakat is also included.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So there is a cap on the relief every year. Let's
Like
make a guess.
like total.
Yeah. There is.
Cap,
There is. Yeah, that's 80,000. 80,000.
80,000.
You ask me to guess, then you give me the
some give
answer.
answer. Sometimes my self question, self
Okay,
answer.
okay.
Right. So do take note. Tax relief cap limit is actually at 80,000.
Okay.
So it's very hard to hit that limit.
Yeah.
But there is, in a scenario, if you are a working mother, you have a mother of say maybe 3 to 4, you have like a lot of relief in that working mom situation, and you have 2 maids, and you do all the SRS top up and all the CPF top ups,
Yeah.
then that is pretty much possible that you can. So that is actually the some limitation on that lah. Right.
Okay, one last question, Ken. Is there any reliefs for people like self-employed?
For self-employed person, right, actually they don't really contribute to the
Contribute,
CPF
yeah.
compulsory. So it's actually they can do the voluntary contribution to the CPF, and they're entitled up to 37,740 a year of the tax relief.
Yeah, that's for the OA, SA, Medisave 3 account differently lah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course, self-employed also have a Medisave voluntary, as in compulsory contribution for based on which year they are in. Yeah, which year they are in, then the amount will be different. Which age they are in, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically the portion about putting into CPF is the main difference lah. Okay, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you so much, Ken, for sharing with us.
Thanks for having me today.
And to our viewers, our listeners, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you found this informative and also helpful. If you have any questions, just feel free to drop us a DM at any of our socials. And for podcast audio listeners, remember to rate our podcast 5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Thank you.
Okay.
5 stars.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.